Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the multi-company consolidation in Business Central, and also I want to show you guys how to create a Power BI report to consolidate multiple companies from Business Central. Okay, so the environment I'm using is a Business Central client installed on my local laptop. So it's not Business Central Cloud hosted on Microsoft Public Cloud. So the reason I'm doing this is because for the Power BI report, I can connect to the SQL database directly. But if I'm using the Business Central Cloud, there are some limitations for you to create Power BI report. You can only use the published all data services in the web service, all those published queries, pages, forms. You can use those to create a Power BI report. So you have to publish the service first. And it's not like flexible. It's not as flexible as you create a Power BI report by accessing the local SQL database on your computer or from a server. Okay, so let's start from the multi-company consolidation in Business Central first. So you can see for my Business Central environment, I have multiple companies: Kronos Demo Company Canada, Kronos Demo Company Mexico, and Kronos Demo Company USA. So you can also see I created another company called the Consolidated Company. And in order to create this company, the purpose of this company is to consolidate the financial data in my Canada, Mexico, and USA companies. And then, so everything will be consolidated in the GL level. So you can run a consolidated trial balance report from your consolidated company. And this consolidated company has to be an empty company. So what you can do first in order to create this company, so you have to go to any of the company, but not this new one. So let's say I haven't created that company, and I can go to my Kronos Canada company, and then I can, in this Kronos Canada company, I go to companies, and in companies, I have to create a new company. So when you create a new company, you give it a name, like consolidated company, you give it a name, and then click on OK. Then you will have a company with empty data created. Okay, so we want this company to only do the consolidation, and we don't want this company to do anything else. So that's why we have to create an empty company. So that empty company, after you create it, there's no transactional data. So let's see if I switch to this consolidated company, and if you go to sales orders, purchase orders, everything will be blank. So you don't have any transaction data, and also you don't have any master data as well. Okay, so we only use this company to do the GL level consolidation. So the only thing you have to create in this company is the financial setup. So what you can do, you can go to your chart of accounts. So when you just created this company, this will be blank. So you need to use the configuration package to import the chart of accounts you want to consolidate. Okay, so before you do that, you have to go to each company. So let's say I go to my Kronos Canada company. I have to go to my chart of accounts. Then I check my chart of accounts. And make sure you select choose columns. Then you have those consolidated credit account, consolidated debit account. You have these two accounts show up. After you have these two accounts show up, then you can decide. So these accounts will be the accounts you want to create in the chart of account of your consolidated company. Okay, so these will be your chart of account in your consolidated company, and you want to map the general ledger account from each company to those consolidated credit account or consolidated debit account. So that's the purpose to set this up. So let's say I want to map each one just to the relevant credit account and debit account. So it's easier, I'm doing it from the Kronos Canada company, because if I switch to another company, I have to do the same setup. But if I switch to a Kronos Mexico company and go to my chart of accounts, then I have to do the same setup. So if this is the chart of account, general ledger account, for the chart of account I am going to use in the consolidated company, and then I have to map this one from the Mexico company to this credit and debit account in the consolidated company. Okay, so I have to do the mapping for each account. And I'm not gonna do it one by one by going to edit, and then after going to edit, then you can edit this consolidated account, right? You can go to consolidation and enter this account. So that will be very time consuming. So the way I'm trying to do it is from the configuration package. So I'm gonna show you the last company, the US company first before I show you the configuration package. So in the USA company, I'm going to my chart of accounts, and then I have to do the same mapping. I have to map my assets to this consolidated account. But you could see there's something I don't have a consolidated credit account or consolidated debit account set up. This will cause trouble when you consolidate the accounts in your consolidated company, because when you do the consolidation, it will go through all the companies. If it cannot find anything you had a mapping to the consolidated company, then it will complain about it. So what you can do, you can, when you set it up, you can filter if you have anything blank. So for all these accounts, those accounts will be the problem account when I run the consolidation in my consolidated company. Yeah, so these will be the problematic accounts, general ledger account. So you have to set them up, and you have to know where you want to map it to, okay? And so I'm gonna go to, yeah, so that's the 3 companies. And if I go to the Mexico company, let's do the same filter to see if I have anything I didn't map. If I do, then it will be a problem. But there's nothing. Okay, Mexico is okay. I mapped all the accounts, and Canada for sure it won't have problem because that's my local company, and I'm using the same accounts for the consolidated credit and debit. So for this company, I'm sure I don't have anything blank. Yeah, I don't. So then the other company in the USA, so those accounts will be my problem account. In order to go through your consolidation, I think if you don't have any data in those accounts, just delete them. No, but for I mean, like, in order for us to go through the whole process, then you'd better to delete it. But actually, in the real actual scenario, you cannot just delete them, because you do have those accounts, and I need to go to the USA, not the Mexico, because you do want to have those accounts. So you have to create your chart of account in your consolidated company for those accounts. But because I didn't create them, so that's why I want to delete them for now, just for the demo purpose. I don't want to waste the time to create all these accounts. You may have problems to delete them because you already have transactions. You already have general ledger GL entries. Okay, so then you will have problem. So in order for you to fix this issue, because if you go to my consolidated company, I don't have this account, then I will have issue. Okay, so in order for us to do this, what I can do, I go to my consolidated, so that's what I want. Okay, so in order for you to do that, okay, if I go to my consolidated company, if you go to chart of accounts, okay, So then you can see I don't have an account saying like 10800. If I don't have it, when I run the consolidation, then it will complain that account. I'll show you guys how that's happening. Okay, so I already created these business units, and then you do the consolidation. When you do the consolidation, then you give it a date you want to filter. So let's say I want to run this consolidation. Then it will populate the error because that account does not exist in, you see, 10800. It means this account does not exist in your consolidated company, so it cannot consolidate it. So what we can do in order for us to have this, the best way is like we have the okay. So I already have something, the configuration package. I exported for USA, okay, and we can filter this configuration package, and from this configuration package, if we filter this consolidation account blank, we need to see anything blank. The blank ones will be the ones we have problem. Okay, so you can copy these accounts, and then you create another configuration package, and then you put those accounts into the configuration package for your consolidated company. So for example, I'm using this file to import from my consolidated company. Actually, this file is from my Canada company, and I want my consolidated company to use the same chart of account from my Canada company, but because in your USA company you have some other accounts, like you cannot find the relevant account in your Canada company, so those other accounts you have problems, so you have to add to this configuration package, add those accounts to this configuration package, and set up the name, search name, this posting account, all those information you have to set up, you have to fill in. And then after you fill in all those information, then you import that configuration package to your consolidated company. Okay, so just close this. So this is my consolidated company. So if you go to my configuration package, then you can see I have this configuration package created. That's for the table 15. So then after you fix that Excel spreadsheet, add those extra general ledger accounts and the relevant information for those general ledger accounts, then you just import from that Excel file, then apply the package. So after you apply the package, then you will have a chart of accounts like this. Okay, your consolidated company, because this is an empty company, so you don't have any information before. And you see that this number because I already did consolidation previously. The reason I'm able to run the consolidation successfully before is because when I create those configuration package, I didn't pay too much attention to those missing account, whatever. And so then I just, for example, this Canada company, I just count how many lines in this company. And then, because I'm not gonna do it one by one. I mean, in the real case, your accountant will map the account one by one, right? In order to do the consolidation. But when I did this, I just count you see in the Excel is 298 rows. And then, so for this file, it's easier. I just copy those 298 rows to my consolidated. So to my consolidated debit and credit, okay? I just copy those to here for my Canada company import. I did that. And then I use the same file for my consolidated company because I want the consolidated company to have the same chart of account structure as my Canada company. So in this demo database is kind of more complicated because it has it has different countries and in different languages, so it's kind of hard, more difficult. But in the real scenario, like for a Canadian company, usually all the companies general ledger account, the chart of account, the same structure. You can copy the same thing. So then for the consolidated company, you don't need these two columns, because this will be the account you consolidate those three companies to. Okay, and then you remember that 298 rows. But when I do the configuration package for my Mexico and USA company at the beginning, when I run it at the beginning, I just account how many rows in my Mexico company is 297. So I copy the same general ledger account. I didn't want to dig too deep, like if they match the description or not. I just copy those 298 rows from the Canada company to the consolidated, you can see, to the consolidated debit and account. And then I just delete one row at the bottom to make them to be the same, 297 rows. I delete one from 96,000 range, and then make the last row to be 9999, the same as this one. And so they have, or just make sure they have the same rows. And I didn't bother too much to see which account exists, which account doesn't exist. If the description matches, that's accountant's job. Okay, for this demo purpose, I just want to make sure the consolidation can go through. And then when I go to my USA, I did the same thing. I counted how many rows in this USA company, and it's 298 rows. It exactly matches the number of rows in the Canada company. So at the beginning, when I did the setup, it goes through successfully, and I just copied those to the consolidated. I just copied the same chart of account information from the Canada to the consolidated debit and credit, because they match. But the thing is, like in the Canada company, there's no 10800. There's no this increases during the year. And so after 10,000, then it's 11,000. So then there's some rows does not match. So that's why you see the differences. When you go to the US company, there's a bunch of differences. That's after I fix the data. So after I fix the data that way, then there will be problems, because I cannot match this to the consolidated company anymore, because my consolidated company is using the same chart of account structure of Canada company. Okay, so that's a story of why you see the differences now, and why you can see there's a consolidation done previously, but I cannot run the consolidation anymore in the consolidated company, and why you see this data. Because at the beginning when I created this, then I didn't dig into too much of the details, if it match or not. I just make sure the row matches, then I was able to match them, but it will be mapped to a different account with a different description. But I didn't care too much about this. But when I create a Power BI report, then I will see that data the description doesn't match. Yeah. So then you find the issue with your data when you create a Power BI report. Okay. So at the beginning, I'm still want to go through the process in Business Central for how you do the consolidation. So you could see, if you click on this, then you will see there's a consolidation has been done. So that net change generated from my consolidation. So the posting date is December 31st, because when I did the consolidation, I was choosing the starting date, January 1st, 2020, to the end date, December 31st, 2020. So that's why you see the posting date as this date. And then you see the document number. So that's from my first consolidation I run. And you see these. And also it gives you an exchange rate. So talking about exchange rate, because this scenario is more complicated, because I have consolidation running from different companies, and they are using different currency. So my Canada company is using Canadian local currency. Mexico is using Mexican peso, and the USA is using USA dollars. So they're using different currency. When you do the consolidation in the consolidated company, you have to create a business units. You don't need to create this manually. So there's a process. You can go to the assisted setup, When you go to assisted setup, then you have setup consolidation reporting. You can run this process. You can see this completed because I already go through this. I already went through this. So when the first time when you run this, then you have to select a company. I can say use an existing company. And then I selected the existing company is the consolidation company. This is the company I want to run the consolidated trial balance report. And then I select for each company, I put in the business unit name. So this business unit code is what you see in my business unit later when you see it from the other window. So I use Canada and then local currency, so I don't need to give a currency code, so it was blank. And then you select you want to use the currency exchange rate table local. Local means you want to use the exchange rate table from this consolidated company. I recommend to use this option because by using this option, you can change the currency exchange rate in the consolidated company. And if you use the original business from the original business unit company, then you cannot change that exchange rate from the consolidated company. And you select your starting date, ending date. So, because I already went through this process, I just recommend you guys to use. Then the next window will ask you to select general ledger account for your exchange gains or loss, those kind of things. Then after you went through that process, then you will see the 3 business units generated for each company you configured. Because I configured for 3 companies, so there will be 3 business units appear in the business units window, in this page. So then you have everything. Then you can tell the system what's the percentage, consolidation percentage you want to use. So for the companies like you own 100%, then you can put 100%. But like for some joint venture companies, maybe you can only you only own 50%. Then you can put a percentage to be 50%. You don't need to put 100%. Okay, you can change this consolidation percent, and it will consolidate the financial data at the GL level according to the percentage you set up here. And you can see, because the reason you are seeing last run is February 3rd, 2021, because it's my work date is my work date right now in the demo company is 2021. It's in this year. So when I run it, then it's using a future date. It's not using the actual date of today in 2019. Okay, so let's see. So then the starting date and ending date, when I select that, after you set this business units up, then you run the consolidation. So then you select the starting date, ending date, and then you put in the document number for the consolidation. So this consolidation will not go through now, because after I created my Power BI report, I changed the mapping of those general ledger accounts, because I found the US company has more general ledger accounts, but I didn't create those general ledger accounts in the consolidated company. So that's why I recommend you guys, when you do it in real case scenario, for those accounts in another company, exists in another company but does not exist in so like you may have multiple companies. Some general ledger account exists in one company but does not exist in the others. So for those general ledger accounts, you have to add them into the chart account, into the chart of accounts in your consolidated company, and then do the mapping from your original company like Mexico, USA, do the consolidated credit account or consolidated debit account mapping from your original company to the consolidated company. After you have done that, then you will be able to run that consolidation report. You will be able to run this consolidation. After you run that consolidation, then you will have a trial balance report generated. Okay, so that trial balance report will be like this, because I did run it successfully my first time. Like I mapped out the account, but just mapped to the wrong account. But now I'm trying to fix the data. If account cannot be mapped to, then I have to add those to the consolidated company. But I just don't want to waste too much time on that setup. because my purpose is just to show you guys how the process looks like, and just went through the demo process. Okay, so yeah, so the first time I was able to go through that consolidation process, then it will generate the consolidated trial balance report at the end of the consolidation. This trial balance report will be something look like this. Okay, yeah. So the reason I want to generate this report is because I need to create a Power BI report which has the same information, and matches the data on this report. So now I'm gonna show you the Power BI report I created. So you have to do some database analysis, your SQL database analysis before you can create this Power BI report. And so what I did for this Power BI report, I go to, because it's one database, I only have one database, I'm gonna show you guys how the SQL database table looks like. And then you can see how I get my data. Okay, so the table I need to get from my SQL is my GL account table and my GL entries table. So I need those two tables in order to get the data I want on my Power BI report. Okay, so this is my SQL database for the Business Central, for the Business Central. Okay, so if I expand my tables, so I will like to filter my GL account table. So it will be something look like this. Then you can see, so because I have 4 companies: consolidated company, Kronos, Canada, Mexico, and US. So now you'll see, so for this is the GL account table for Canada, and you have the GL account table for Mexico, you have the GL account table for the USA. Okay, so that's from your SQL. So usually, in order to get the data I want in this report, so I need to create the SQL queries to get data. Now I'm gonna show you guys how the SQL queries look like. So at the beginning, usually when I create a report, first I just import the table I want first, and then I find the table relationship. Then I can combine the tables together. So at the beginning, I just if you look at the source of this Canada GL account table, so this is not my original query. So my original query will be only like this number name. So I can add it later, add something I want later. And then I don't even have this B. I didn't join this to the general ledger entry table. I just load my GL account table with the field I want, with a field I want. Okay. And then after I did that, and I create a GL entries table like this. And so the field I need is GL account number, posting the amount, debit, credit. And after I create this table, then I can establish a relationship in Power BI between the GL and the GL entries table. Then I will see like what data I actually need. And so then the next step is like I don't need this GL entries table anymore, because I can join them together. So usually after you create your you analyze more in Power BI, then you can consolidate your statement in one statement instead of put them into different statements and different tables. Then I consolidate my GL account table with my GL entry table. I join them together. So I use some case statement. So to translate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 from SQL to actual, like there's a business logic. So what 0 means and what 1, 2, 3, 4 means. You can find this from the development environment. So usually what you do is go to your dev environment. So you have to do this analysis during the process when you create this report. So now you go to your tables. I'm gonna use the table 15 for the GL account. And you can see those like for the account category or account type, those kind of things. And the data type is option, right? Okay, so for example, this one, account type. Then if you go to the properties, you can see what account types means. Then you can see the option string. Then so the first position is 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So then you know in the SQL this posting is 0. Then you translate that business logic in your query, in your statement, in your Power BI, right? So you in SQL you will see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You translate them to all those. Then you create this statement for the Canada. Then you create a same statement but in a different table. So everything is the same, but just with a different table name. So this is for Mexico table name, okay, for the GL and the GL account and GL entry. Then you create the same statement for the USA. So this is also combine the GL account, join the GL account table and the GL entry table together. So you just change this table name, okay? And after you did that, actually, now you can do more analysis to see how you want to create your visuals in Power BI. So then you can have something similar to your to this report, trial balance report. Okay, so after that analysis, I found I need to append all these tables together because they have the same table structure, and I can append those tables together. So I created a new company in Power BI called Consolidated Company. So when you create this Power BI report, you don't even need to use that consolidated company in Business Central. You only need to set up those. You only need to set up those consolidated debit account and consolidated credit account. If you don't want to run the report in that consolidated company in Business Central, then after you created them, then you can just run this report in Business Central to have the data showing in Business Central. But if you want to validate the data from Business Central itself, then you'd better to create another company called Consolidated Company and create a chart of account and make sure all your mapped consolidated credit account, consolidated debit account exist in your chart of account in the consolidated company. Then you can do consolidation in the consolidated company in Business Central. Then you can compare your Power BI report data with that data running in the consolidated company. Okay, so the consolidated company here in Power BI is created by append queries. So what you can do, you can highlight any of these tables. So actually, I don't need the Canada GL entry, Canada, Mexico GL entry, and USA GL entries table anymore. After I joined the GL account and GL entries table together. But I just want to put them there, just in case later I want to create some other report, I need to use them. Okay, so then when you do that, merge Canada, Mexico, USA to the consolidated company table structure, you can use append queries as new. Then you select all the 3 companies, select 3 or more tables. Then you put Canada, Mexico, and USA together. Okay, I already have this one, delete one. Okay, so you put them together and then it will create a new consolidated company like this. Okay, and so if later, if you find anything, so you do not delete these 3 because this consolidated company in your Power BI is built on top of these 3 tables in Power BI. So don't delete them. You can delete these GL entries because they're already consolidated in these 3 tables. Okay, so if later you find, oh, in the consolidated company you're missing some field, then you can go to our SQL, find that field name, then you add into the queries of those 3. After you add to the source of these 3, after you add a new field to here, then automatically this consolidated company will have that new field show up as well. Okay, so this is how I create that, and you create a consolidated company. And another thing I found is like I need to create a GL category. So this table, I do not need this anymore. I can delete this. That's for prep. So I create some tables because I was thinking the way there are multiple ways you can achieve the same purpose purpose in Power BI. So you just need to find which way is better and consider if you are going to use a measure, if you're going to use something else, or if you're going to use a SQL query. So there are many ways for you to do it to achieve the same result in Power BI. So the way I'm doing it is I create another SQL query and for the GL category. So because this GL category can calculate the totals like assets, liabilities, equity, income, cost of goods sold, expense. Also, I have to map the SQL database number to the business logic in Business Central for the actual option string name. Okay, and then I created this, and after I created those, the reason I created that GL category is because when I do this first trial balance report, you can see then I need to use the field like the currency code, because I need to know if I consolidate, because the currency code is representing which company, because each company only have one currency for those 3 companies I'm dealt with. So then if you see currency code CAD, that means it's from the Canada, and MXN, that means it's from Mexico, USD is from US. And so you put the reason you have to put the consolidated account, not the original general ledger account here as the first column, because your consolidated company is using the consolidated account. So you have this consolidated company, consolidated GL accounts. Actually, this field is renamed from the consolidated. Actually, no, sorry, I have to say this. So the reason I created this actual column is because I'm using a visual. This visual is a matrix visual, and originally you can only put one field as the you can only, I want to show both the general ledger account number and the description and the name of that general ledger account. So then I created an actual column in my table. So like this, and this column, if you go to here, you can see, so this comes from a string, the string merge between this consolidated credit account and the name. So this is the general ledger account number for the consolidated company, and this is the description of that general ledger account. So I have to join those 2 strings together to create this in order to put them in one column. Otherwise, then you will see there will be a down arrow and a double down arrow for you to expand. So first down arrow, you can only see the general ledger account, and second down arrow, you can only see the name, but you cannot put them together. So by combining the strings together, and I have them to show you just in one column, now I don't need to drill down, and I'm missing some information in order to drill down. So I did it this way because the limitation of the visuals in the Power BI. Okay, so then you have the total showing, and if you match the data here, then it will match with your trial balance report. So just take a look at this. So you have the cash account 11200, cash 2275, right? So it's matching the number in your trial balance report, and the bank account. At the end, then your data will match your trial balance report run from that consolidated company. Okay, so the benefit of this report is like I can filter by, like I can consolidate multiple companies. So if I say I want to consolidate Mexican, Canada, so if you see it, this highlighted in black, that means it's selected. If you see in green, that means it's not selected. So right now it's consolidated US and Mexico together. Then you see the data for those 2. And if you highlight any of these values, then you can see on the right hand side, you can drill down to the details of the GL entries, which makes the 467. Okay. And if you drill to another, this one, 2,023,800, then it shows you the GL account, the entry number, posting date, source code, document number, all those kind of things, right? So you can drill down to each number for the consolidation. And so you can select all the 3 companies. If all blank, that means you are selecting all the 3 companies. So this is the result when you consolidate all the 3 companies together. And you can filter by a specific GL account and to see the details for the consolidation of the result of this GL account. Okay, and so this is the first page. So this first page is consolidated trial balance by the GL accounts. You can filter by the date range and filter by, you can select multiple companies together, and then you can filter by a specific GL account. Then you can drill into the details of the GL entries posted for that GL account. And the second page is by the GL account category. So for the GL account category, you have assets, cost of goods sold, entity, expense, income, liabilities in Business Central. Okay, so the reason you see here, you don't have the general ledger account number here. So this happens like those are the ones missing in the US company. You see, that's for the US companies, because the US company we could not, because the chart of account in the consolidated company, I'm using the same chart of account. I import the same chart of account from the Canada company. So that's why in the US company, there's actual general ledger account. I didn't created them in the consolidated company. So that's why you don't see the mapped consolidated GL account number. You only see a description. But if you run it, so currently you can see these data shown in the Power BI report. But if you run it from the consolidated company in Business Central, then it will give you the error, because the business logic enforced by Business Central is like, when you didn't set up that GL account in the consolidated company, then it will not let you go through. Okay, so that's a benefit of this report. Then you can see which account you didn't set up actually in the consolidated company in your Business Central. And also this this Power BI report does not based on your consolidated company. Even you do not set up your consolidated company in Business Central, you can still use this report to generate your data. So that consolidated company in Business Central might not be necessary anymore. It's only necessary when you do the data verification to compare your Business Central consolidated trial balance report with your Power BI data. Okay, so now for this second page, I'm running by the GL account category, so I can select an assets category, so that you can see the details of this and what GL entries make up this this number in your cache. Okay, so it's 767. Okay, and another thing is like in this report, you see I'm adding up like different currencies together, but didn't consider the exchange rate. So actually what you can do, you can have another SQL query, but actually I did have the other SQL query for exchange rate, and I just didn't do that just because this demo usually is for Canada company. They only have one entity, multiple entities in legal entities in Canada, so they will not use different currency code to consolidate exchange rate to consolidate the data in different companies. So, but I do have this SQL query to get the exchange rate table from your Business Central company. You see, I'm using the setup from the Canada company. The reason of this, I'm using the exchange rate from the Canada company is because I'm supposed to use the one from the consolidated company, but I don't want to create that consolidated company in Business Central. I just want to create this Power BI report so I can then consolidate the data, financial data. So then this is assuming I do not have that consolidated Business Central company. So then I need to select an exchange rate from one of the companies I have. So then I selected the Canada company to get a SQL, to let the SQL queries get the data from the Canada company. Okay. So I have this exchange rate table, And so there's more advanced I can do for this Power BI report. Is like I create a calculated measure. I put in the different currency as I can select in the calculated measure and put it as a slicer like this, and link it to the trial balance report. So when I select the currency exchange rate, then it will convert this number to the Canadian currency and then calculate the total accordingly. Okay. So right now this total is just add up the different currency numbers. It didn't convert it to your local currency, Canadian dollars. Yeah. Okay, so then you can filter by cost of goods sold. In my demo data, there's no cost of goods sold. It depends on the transactions you did. I do have the retained earnings because I already closed the year in one of the testing company. And then you can see the data for this. So I did the close of the year. And expense, I have no data. Income, I have no data. Utilities, and I have no data. Okay, so that's coming from my demo companies. But actually, if you go to blank, so another thing which is important is like you have to set up the correct account category in your chart of account in your Business Central companies. You could see why I filter by blank. Then there's lots of income statement and balance sheet. So this third page is this one. And for this, you can select your consolidation company as well. 3 companies you want to consolidate. And you can select the income statement. Or you can select your balance sheet. When you do that, then you could see what's the total here. You see these total should match. But so this total and this total at the end should match. But if they do not match, that means something, your data could be wrong, okay? And the income statement, let's see, for income statement. And also there's some difference for the income statement. So remember, I'm using the Kronos demo company, and the consolidation process is difficult because it's using different chart of account, different structure of chart of account, and so those data, if those data is wrong, then if the general ledger account mapping is wrong, then this data will not look good. Yeah, so that's one of the other reason why it do not show the same data. But the concept is here. If you have an accountant who map those chart of account, general ledger account to the consolidated debit credit account properly, then in your Power BI report you will see the same result, the same results. Yeah, as you run the consolidated company consolidation. Yes. Okay, so that's how you create your consolidation for multiple companies in Business Central, and how do you create a Power BI report and use the Power BI report to simulate what you have in your trial balance report. And this Power BI report can be more detailed, or can be at the balance sheet or income statement level, and can be at the GL accounts level, or can be at the GL account category level. So it's more flexible. You can filter. Remember, in your trial balance report in Business Central, you have the net change, you have the balance columns. So in this Power BI report, so you can filter by any date range. So from the first day, or from the date you did the last close year-end close, to your today's date. If you remember the date you did the year-end close, you use that posting date, and to today's date, that will be your balance. And the net change will be like, you can filter by a fiscal year, from the first day of the fiscal year to the end of day of the fiscal year. Then you get that net change. Okay, yeah. So so we could see the Power BI report is more flexible, and you can filter by the companies to do the consolidation. You can combine your exchange rate to the Power BI report, and you can filter by the different general ledger account to get a trial balance on that general ledger account for that company. So, and you get the data, you get the data immediately. Not like when you run the report, if there's lots of data, it take time for your trial balance, for this trial balance report to run. It takes a lot of time. But for the Power BI report, once you refresh it, then the data is cached in your Power BI report. Then when you filter by the date, then the result come up immediately. Yeah. So that's this, like this one. If I filter by 2020 and December 31st, 2020. Okay, so the data just refresh immediately in your Power BI report. You don't need to wait long for the Power BI report to run. Okay, yeah, so there's lots of possibilities in your Power BI report to do the consolidation if you have multiple companies in your Business Central. And if you guys have any questions, please leave your comments on my YouTube channel under this video. Okay, thank you so much for joining this session. Hope to see you guys again next time. Thank you.